Okay, nitrogen purging. Now, it's difficult enough even to get some guys to use nitrogen. They didn't believe in it, and they always blame the faulty TXCs, the expansion valves, always going bad, not knowing they're the ones who caused them to go bad. But let's get into another consideration here. Nitrogen flow to stop the oxides from building up in your inner parts of your copper. And when you have multi-branch circuits, you really have to know where the flow of your nitrogen. If you looked at my earlier videos, you know these are branch circuits, and it's a branch off a branch off a branch, and the nitrogen starts getting divided out and through the system. Another thing you will have happen to you is as you're following your nitrogen flow, my nitrogen flow is like 30 feet in that direction. And I was brazing up branches as I come in this direction. Well, as you seal up all those nitrogen leaks and you had a set pressure of nitrogen flow, a set flow quantity, it stopped leaking at all those points you were brazing. So now it has fewer leak points, meaning more of that nitrogen is going to make it to the end. But as it's going further, it has the static pressure, it has the friction of trying to get to the end, so the pressure will actually build up on you. And if you're not careful, your pressure can exceed your brazing for your silver to go in. Your silver will go around, but your nitrogen will have a pressure that slowly starts developing. Every time I braze this one, now I can't leak out of here, so the pressure will be greater on here because it's trying to escape only out of one exit. So you constantly have to go to opening ports. Check your flow. My nitrogen's up on the roof. I'm down here. So check your flow, put your eye, your nose, whatever, to check your flow. Make sure you always have flow, but make sure the flow is not too high, because your flow will start increasing at your point down here as you're fixing the leaks, as you're brazing this way, and that's how you get your leaks. Well, that's one of the way. Another way is just not knowing how to braze. But it's improper brazing. I mean, it's using nitrogen, but not understanding how it can bite you in the butt by building up pressure as you're fixing the leaks as you're going along. So as you see, I'm flowing nitrogen down this line right here, and I fixed all the leaks from all the Ys on that side of the building, 2 glue lambs over. I'm all the way down here. I had to go up and readjust my nitrogen and turn the flow down because the back pressure and the flow was turning up because I fixed all the leaks and it was too much. Then the pressure will be at my points, trying to push out at these points, making weak braze joints, or making them so they fail when you go to do your pressure test, or it fails a year later. So I went up, I readjusted. Now I have nitrogen flow coming out here because it's being fed down the suction tube. It's going through the evaporator, going through the electronic expansion valve, and I could feel ever so slightly right here. Now, if I wanted to increase this flow, then after I finish brazing this one, I put the cap on right here. And once I put the cap on there, the nitrogen only has one place to go, down into the evaporator, through the evaporator, and come out here. And then I could send the nitrogen in this direction. But now, as I start decreasing the amount of leaks, the pressure will start going up once again, and I have to check my pressure, because as I keep going this way making brazes, my pressure might get so high at this point that it's pushing out as I'm trying to silver braze and draw in silver, and maybe on the back side it pushed out a little nitrogen, a stream of air of nitrogen is coming out, and then it brazed and it looks really pretty up here, but down on the back side nitrogen was pushing out as it was cooling off. You have to chase that. I could lower this pressure. Here's an end point right here. I could lower this pressure by opening this cap, and I could decrease the flow here before it ever gets to this point as I'm brazing along, because I could steal some of the nitrogen by opening up this port right here before I get there. So you have to really understand the flow and pressure characteristics. You have volume and you have pressure, 2 different things. And your volume can, and as your static, as your pipe gets longer and you go further and you're flowing more nitrogen because it's not leaking out all those other leak points, you will start building up pressure as you go down the line. Something You not often, because VFR units are not studied in schools yet, not many of them, and it's only teachers who mostly never worked out in the field, and they don't understand. Yeah, you do nitrogen, but how do you do nitrogen? How do you measure it? I should have a mammometer right here, like the DG 800 or 1000, and I can literally measure, say, a mammometer, and measure inches of water column. You don't want PSI. I mean, you want ever so slightly, and you can adjust and open while you're at the other end of the building on 1,000 feet of copper, because you don't want to keep running back up and forth, up and down. What else can I say here? On our system here, we put one extra Y on the system with one extra set of ball valves, because there might be some additional work added on to the system later on. So we left these here so we can steal capacity from the system, because it has some reserve capacity, and we can bring it over and use it inside the office area and other uses if they need it. It's going to be here. They don't have to purchase another system. We actually could tap off of the existing system. We left some capacity here and some options with ball valves, so it's separated. We don't have to kill the whole system to tap into the system. It's already here for future use. And we're going to do it on the other system too, because they had some other ideas that weren't in this original plan, but I already thought them in, and I leave them this option so they don't have to purchase. Now, as a contractor, that's insane. You're giving away money. That's another $100,000 or $200,000 system you could sell. Why rip your customer off when you can save them money, give them a good, reliable system, instead of just keep selling them more systems? So we leave this option to give them a little bit extra without, ripping them off. Some guys think that's not ripping it off. It's just like however they can make money to put into their bank account, but that's a different topic. All right, so that's the nitrogen thing, and I'm about to start brazing because I'm wasting nitrogen talking here. See you guys.